Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to CCA League Season 7 Division 2 Finals. My name is Grace. I'm holding a copious amount of Pikmin right now, and joining me is someone else who is also a Pikmin enjoyer, the Cactus.
Hello, Grace. It's such a pleasure to be on here with commentary with you. And yes, we're enjoying our love of Pikmin joining us on the screen, even though they might seem incredibly small to the naked eye. Not for us. We could see them just a little bit. We have an exciting matchup, Div 2 CCA Finals with us today, and we got two very powerful teams. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about them, Grace?
Yes, oh my gosh. First of all, TAMU White from Texas A&M University. Love them so much. I commentated them, not week one, round one of playoffs rather, where they went 5-1. Crazy. They've just had a crazy run in general. 5-0 in groups, in rounds. They were first in their group, Group 1 that was, in Div 2, getting all the way up to playoffs. They only dropped 4 games in groups total. And then they only dropped 2 games total in playoffs. Looking at the bracket, TAMU went 5-1. Do leaf sheep, dream of sleep. I can't believe I said that in one take, actually.
I say props to you. I would have stuttered that.
that's because that's the match I commentated, so it's locked in here somewhere. But they also won 5-1 against Splatlanders. So crazy good wins for them. Again, they are on like a generational run right now in Div 2. Really great. I feel like they're the team to beat here. So looking at the opposite side of the bracket here, Bull Squids, University of Buffalo, they clawed their way through playoffs, in my opinion, in my professional opinion. They closely beat TAMU Maroon 5-4 last week, which is awesome, in semis. And then the round before that, they won against WPI 5-2. So I just yapped a lot, Cactus. I love these two teams. I love CCA. I love Div 2.
Absolutely. I mean, they both have stories to tell, right? And I do love that Bull Squids had a little bit of a fight already with TMU with their brethren team Maroon now going against White. So we're jumping right into this game though with some nice records you do see above there. This is a best of 9. So first team to 5 wins in a row is going to be or 5 wins in general will be successful in this Grands. And look at these comps right now. I'm already in love with that insane Sub-Saber Jr.
Wait, I see the vision. TAMU IO is killer on this junior all the time. I feel like they're a really great backbone for TAMU White here. But already looking at these openings, Cactus, listen, Bull Squids, they are coming up in here. I mean, they're fighting for the zone pretty well. They're coolered up. Mr. Mudkip putting in some work here on this Stamper. And I love to see the Stamper there with that Booyah Bomb getting some attention. I think it's really good for initiation, good at holding its ground. I say that, although they do get striked back, but still, Bull Squids do not want to give up this space that easily.
They don't, but going 3 players down. Actually, now effectively a wipeout on there, and I believe one of those players actually fell into the water on that right side. That will allow, that will allow TMU to have a really strong opportunity here we're seeing a lot of explosions right now on that side of the map. We're going to ignore that and show that that the Bulls are going in strong here, trying to recap that zone and break down their penalty again. But another goes down on their side. It's just a lot of blows, or a lot of powerful, strong blows going back and forth. We've seen this zone flip, I think, 4 times now in the first minute and 15 of the game. And right, you could tell both these teams want this first win, and they want it bad.
Yeah, and I feel like on Mahi Mahi zone specifically, I feel like folks want to get this water dwell level dropped down like immediately, and I mean we're gonna see it soon here. But still, like to see both of these teams be so evenly matched to the point where they don't want to give them any breathing room here. Now, not to gas up Io as a junior player myself, Splattershot Jr. with amazing bombs. That Subsaver is putting in that work. The bomb pressure, the bomb kills, the chip, all of that is working so harmoniously together here. They have really good control of the zone. They're backing up here the members of Bull Squids. The Booyah Bomb's going to come out, try to initiate something here, but the bubble, that kind of counter special. Wait, they still cap the zone. They didn't paint over the Booyah Bomb. I am gobsmacked.
I'm kind of shocked because that bubble was in like the perfect spot to stop any kind of additional paint from the other team to like, put it onto the zone. But I guess Booyah does more than we expect. You know, why would it not? I do have to agree with you there. IO barely surviving these splat bombs on their own. Unfortunately, going down to another Booyah Bomb from Mr. Mudkip. But they've been putting in some great picks with these splat bombs. They're just rolling onto the field, catching players in unfortunate circumstances. It will be the Bulls that are going in strong here, holding the zone, trying to get now past their penalty points, make as many as they can. Clear up, and now it's just going to be the Tech Splattershot alone here by themselves, but they'll go down as well. Delayed wipeout on TAMU. It's going to be the Bull Squids now having a great advantage here as points are counting down.
Yes, and I love all these angles that they're taking. I love a friend who's not afraid to go onto the islands on those little platforms there over the water. But because of that, those great positioning, Neil Bloom gets a killer double, goes inside the bubble. Wait, okay, I thought they were done for because of that Dynamo swing, but they're not. Are they going to be able to get the pick onto Io? I mean, their #1 painter here. They do, with the help of a friend as well. They're going to whale them out here. There's only 6 remaining, 5 remaining, and they all explode into a blue puddle. Cactus. I just said that TAMU White was the team to beat, but Bull Squids just beat them pretty convincingly.
I mean, if there had to be an MVP for that game, those dualies definitely put in that work there. An incredible double to then stalling around the bubble. And usually, for the most part, when you see players try to, go into the enemy bubble, it's almost always, a death sentence, right? Because that's just the enemy turf you're in. You're kind of stuck and you're surrounded. But, I mean, they just showed how you could just find your way of dancing around it and stall so long for not only your team to get the lead, but help stall long enough that you get the KO. And like you were saying, Grace, the team to beat, well, they're showing up strong on the side of the Bull Squids and taking game #1 off of TAMU White.
My gosh. That was nuts. I'm like thinking again at how great that lockout was. I think something that I've started to understand a little bit better, especially watching like SWS, watching some area cups too, is that locking out and going super aggressively. Sorry, my Pikmin's falling off my shoulder. Locking out folks on zones, it can be tough because if you overextend, they can just swoop right in and get the zone out from under you. It's kind of, it's like a cycle when it comes to lockouts on zone. It's very predictable. It's very like, you just kind of go the same way. So it's like, how much do I push up? How much do I take these risks to keep this team back? Because they have to come to me anyways to get the objective back. We're not pushing an objective into their base. There's not really much to be done there. So how much is too much? But Leo Bloom and all the members of Bull Squids perfectly enabled them to go in. They got a bunch of chip damage off. Even when Leo Bloom themselves wasn't the one getting the kills, they still were also ready to follow up off of them, which was really good. It felt like they all knew exactly what to do on that lockout, and they did it together. Like, there was no split attention anywhere, which is really, really impressive on a lockout. I think that's where a lot of them fall through.
Yeah, absolutely. There's never that follow-up or strong coordination that you'll see with some of these teams that are fighting for that lockout. Usually there's always, a little slip-up that might happen, whether you're holding the ledge for too long or you're using your special prematurely, and, it's not going to be as strong as a counter as you're hoping for. But we saw a great prime example there of what great coordination and a strong hold is. And sometimes it's not even about getting those kills, right? Sometimes it's literally just stalling out the enemy team and making them have to look in your direction rather rather than where they can absolutely they could try to shoot for a way back in. I mean, that we did see like just all that attention being pulled towards the front. No players taking for the opportunity on TAMU White to take those side islands to try to have a different angle. So it was very a attention grabbing play that ultimately played really well for the Bull Squids' favor.
That's so true. And like the whole special economy resources of it all, where I think IO had to pop their bubble in their base because they were getting so much pressure by the members of the Bull Squids. So in their lockout, they had to make them use their resources, their specials, to even get out of their spawn, which is really, really tough on zones, and especially on Mahi Mahi because you have to drop in and it's very, very risky to retake. I feel like as a junior myself, I always have to pop a bubble. Either I go for like an aggressive one on the right and I try to pull some attention away, or I go for on the left where there's a little bit more cover, try to get my teammates in too. Either way though, using that bubble, using other resources as well, just to even get to the zone itself, not even to contest it, is really, really tough. And again, that's the Bull Squids vibe. That's their strategy here with going for such an aggressive lockout. So I'm tapped in. I see the vibes. I see what's happening.
Absolutely, and I do want to point out as well how effectively they were getting out of their own lockout. Right, there was a point where they were pretty much back against the wall. But I think honestly the great start of that was that Booyah Bomb that helped cap most of that zone, and somehow they were able to sneak a little bit of extra paint onto it to allow them to have the focus not only just be them, but now the zone behind the players of TAMU White being like, okay, there's our zone's capped. We gotta paint this back into our color while we try to hold this lockout. But once your backs are turned, everything could fall apart, and we saw it very strongly there fall for the Bull Squids' favor. So they were able to hold on strong there and keep going forward. So leading now right now 1-0. I'm sure they're feeling pretty good, but it is still early on in the set. Should be very excited to see what the next map mode we're going to is, which is going to be Tower Control on Mako Mart. So that bubble from IO could come very strong here as long as it's popped accordingly for those checkpoints. But it should be very interesting to see the type of strategies we see from these teams.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I'm expecting to see very similar comps. I know sometimes folks don't, because there was a Dread player, the Dreadbringer player there in that match, but sometimes I see folks switch off of Reef Slider weapons because they think it's awkward on the tower. But honestly, I see it more than I think I would a lot of the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if these comps stay, if not the same, very similar. But I think Mako Mart is so funny because there's so many ledges that I think like the Stamper is probably going to thrive here. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they go for, maybe they want to do a zip one. But I like the Booyah Bomb. It's also like nice to have a GG special as well for tower control. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see like any comp changes. But what do you think? What do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I mean, they have some great specials. I love just seeing the Pikmin pop up outside of my screen.
My good friend, the analyst.
Yeah, I love but yeah, I love the fact that we might not see too many comp changes. We're gonna see right now the couple weapons we might see. We are gonna see Trooper switch over to that Vanilla Splash-O-Matic, and actually we do see a couple of changes. Mr. Mudkip going over to the Inkvac Rapid Blaster. So that's going to be a really nice opportunity to try to swift through those checkpoints in a way to maybe combat some of the probably that crab, honestly, and some of the shots being forced towards that tower. But we're seeing both teams right now racing towards mid, trying to see if they get good opportunities here. We do see two Dinos on the field once more, although one getting taken out with a nice Zuka from Josh on the side of the Bull Squid. So right now, pretty evenly matched as the coolers are being popped out and players are trying to find different ways of taking control.
Yeah, and I like the rapid pick. I think blasters, a lot of AoE in general is really great for tower. That whale being popped as well, trying to dislocate the members of the Bull Squids, and it's pretty effective. I mean, the fact that TAMU White just went 2 down, now they're staggering as well, and they just now got on the tower. Those kind of the dislocation of both of those specials, trying to discombobulate. I'm using a bunch of humongous words for some reason. It works because, I mean, they do clear this first checkpoint, but they get a wipe in the process. So despite the staggering and realizing that they're being staggered, they hold strong.
They do, and although that first checkpoint was cleared, now here we do see this bubble popped out from IO here being a strong opportunity here. Try to clear this checkpoint very quickly here as a lot of splat bombs are going to be coming on out. Cooler will be popped though, so they're able to push a little bit stronger. That Dynamo's doing great work on that left ledge, getting 2 great picks, leaving the other 2 being chased around by those whales, the Killer Whale 5.1. So right off the bat, it's going to be the Bulls that are going to be kind of trapped in this strong defensive position here, trying to find their way to push a little bit more aggro forward. We're seeing some of these fights take place on this left stack, but with a lot of splat bombs coming out from that junior and the bubble to help get a couple more out as well, this is going to keep their push going just a little bit more.
I'm so fascinated in TAMU's White's ability to maintain space even though they're being pushed back. Like, if you'll notice here, they still have control of this left stack. I mean, the members of Bull Squids did back them up a little bit, and then they came back. But I think we're about to see more of that ebb and flow here, where they know when they can use their resources to get back important places here. See, like I just said, I see I'm in their brains right now. They're fighting back with this left stack. Io here is up here throwing a bunch of bombs. They're going to bubble again for it. And they get, they're staggering once again the members of Bull Squids. Although they don't have the tower, they're not pushing it per se. They are following a very smart and specific playbook where they're playing together and using the resources that they do have to stall for their friends to get resources to help them.
Absolutely. I love the opportunity they're trying to get with that, but right now it's going to be TAMU White that's having a really strong combatant to that, right? We're seeing a lot of just one-off picks onto the Bull Squids. It's making it really hard for them to push forward. So, like, example right now, those Dapple Duelies are going to go down once more. We do see Mudkip trying to poke pressure on that right side, but the Dynamo's going to drop down and force them out. Josh goes down right as soon as that cooler gets placed out. So they're in a bit of a cycle right now of trading a player or just going down a little bit one at a time and not really having all four up at the same time for an opportunity for a strong push together. And it seems that's just going to keep continuing forward. Two more go down. Make that another. It's just trading one after another. And TAMU White doing a very good job at holding these placements, holding these positions, and being able to push his tower further and further, even if it's just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, but with that being said, I see Bull Squids adapting to that. I mean, they've already stomped out this push really quickly here. I mean, they're going down numbers in the process of it, yes, and we know that the members here of TAMU White are good at keeping space even when they're down numbers, so it's kind of going to be up to Bull Squids on whether or not they can push up when they do get the numbers advantage. I think that's been something that they're falling prey to a little bit here, but once again, TAMU White on this tower. Are they going to be able to get any more points here on the board? Because it feels like Bull Squids kind of get what they're doing here. Like, they're not quite able to push them back, but they can at least stop them from scoring points.
Yeah, they're doing a great job at just stalling out the kind of push that they're trying to get moving forward once more to that second checkpoint. And honestly, I feel like the Bull Squids are one of those teams where once they have that one really good opportunity, they're going to go the distance. And all they're waiting for is that one player advantage that they can play off of and start chaining their specials through, pushing for this checkpoint. And that opportunity might be happening right now. That crab comes up, but we do have the Ink Vac that's going to take most of those shots out of the way. Here's that well to help get another player on that right side. The Dynamo goes down. Although with that trade-off on the left side, those dualies getting pushed down as well, it's going to be only two players remaining on the side of the Bull Squids that are going to be trying to fight for that mid-hold right now. Mudkip gets a great pick on that side there, just applying a lot of aggressive pressure here. They're able to keep this up for the next 15 seconds. They might be able to get that lead swap with another great trade happening on that lower left side.
Oh my lordy lord. I feel like they are going band for band here in mid cactus. Like, this is nuts. I feel like every time TAMU White pushes them back, they push them back a little bit more here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a killer overtime push here. Wait, okay, but there's nobody on the tower. And the tower, it went back. Oh my gosh. They were stuck in that. Yeah. They're just there holding their splatter shot. No, but yeah, they got stuck in that Zuka. I feel like it's so hard to make an overtime push happen, just period, but especially if they have a bunch of resources to just hop on top of the tower and stomp out your push before it even begins here. TAMU White, really, like, they kind of like outstalled them. Even when they had to give up mid and they couldn't keep stalling in mid itself, they couldn't push at all, the Bull Squids. It felt like they were like always congested. They were taking these trades, which was good and all, especially if you're coolered up, but you're not really getting anywhere if you're only trading out, and that's what was constantly happening. And with TAMU White, with them having the lead, they kind of want trades. They want you to feed into them, and trades are advantageous for them. So seeing that happen a lot of the time, especially in like those last 2 minutes, it felt like the Bull Squids, like, they were trying to claw their way out, but they just couldn't quite make it stick.
Yeah, they really didn't find the perfect opportunity to kind of flip the script like they did that first game. They, as you mentioned, they were really stuck in that kind of band for band, this consistent trades moment there, and that was really just in favor of TAMU White. That whole second half of the game, I mean, at the end there, they had seemed a potentially good push going, but as we saw, there was a trade on that lower left, there was a trade with the Dynamo in the midsection where that second checkpoint was, and then at the last point with only 2 players remaining, the Dualies get unfortunately sniped on out by that Dynamo, and the shot gets stuck in that Zuka frame, unable to move forward and try to get that last pick as they're rushing onto the tower. So TAMU White doing a great job adapting from that first game, just trying to learn the waves a little bit so they're able to have some smooth cruising along. Tying the score 1-1, so both teams right now having a great even matchup. And it's really nice to see that this is definitely going to be a set that may go the distance with how strong these 2 teams are showing their efforts in just the first 2 games alone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that comp was really good from TAMU White too. I took a picture of it so I wouldn't forget. But they busted out the Rapid, I mean, with the Junior, the Splash, and the Dynamo. It just felt like they were playing like a little bit of a stall fest, but at the same time, those specials are so versatile where you can stall out, yes, but you can also completely you can initiate very easily, you know, like with that killer whale, with that crab as well, with the Splash, but you can also just sit there and they kind of can't do anything. You can separate them. All those specials do a lot of things here, so looking at Rainmaker, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of sneaky stuff here as well, but my gosh, my golly gee, Mr. Mudkip here back onto this wonderful stamper that we love them for here. I'm hoping to see some killer Booyah Bombs like we saw in that first game.
Yeah, we're also seeing the return for the Dreadringer from Plant Gang. As a plant myself, rise up 100%. So it's really cool to see that they're going back to their original comps a little bit, right? They're trying to see what's going to work best for them. I love this idea of that slider just trying to push their maker away, but unfortunately getting punished right away for it. It's going to be the Bull Squids just barely breaking through the checkpoint and still having a massive player advantage. It's just the T-Tech alive on the side of TAMU White as the rest of the teammates try to come back in, use their specials here to try to stall out this push. But it's going to be a lot of manpower right now being available on the side of the Bull Squids. And they're going to rush this down all the way to 45 before going 2 players down. And TAMU White is looking for an opportunity to push them off their plat to try to regain some space.
That was, I appreciate the patience. I mean, maybe they were waiting for a special to kind of get them in there, and then they couldn't stall for any longer, had to grab the Rainmaker there, and they were able to get it to 45 remaining. But to me, I feel like there's a threshold of how much you push on Rainmaker for Museum specifically, is that if you get past that bumper, those 2 little inflatable things there, yeah, you see that in the corner? Yeah. Those things, I think getting past that is where you really want to be here. Io, I respect the game, but I was talking. So you can't be pushing while I'm talking. No, I'm kidding. But looking at TAMU White here, they're pretty backed up, which I understand and respect. But if you know one thing about Museum, Delfonsino, you don't want to have your peaks on the plat. You want to get them in mid.
Absolutely. And right here we're seeing a great opportunity of potentially another push for the Bulls. They will get stopped in that corner, but it's just going to be the Dreadringer left alive. They're trying to paint up a little more space, hold control of that left side. They do have that slider ready, so as their teammates are coming back, if they need to panic pop it, they absolutely can to try to stall it out. But honestly, the Bull Squids, I'm not surprised they're not immediately grabbing this Rainmaker, right? They're looking for an opportunity to keep this stalled out, and unfortunately, there was 1 of 3 splat bombs they were going down to. But, you know, one of them, I don't even know which one, but one of them they went down to.
Hilarious. I love, like, coordinating bombs. It's so funny to me. Josh here fighting for their life against Plant Gang. Okay, I was about to say it's like a bit of a team fight going on, but TAMU White, they've got those down stat. They're going to be able to kill all the members here of, I'm sorry, I got taken aback that I said the word kill. Splatted. We're going to keep it nice. They got so many picks here onto the Bull Squids. They've backed them up here. They're onto the back foot. This whale coming out, though, completely, once again, dislocates all the aggression, all the members here from TAMU White from their push, and it just gets completely stopped in its tracks. I mean, they still have some presence in mid, so that's good, but they're a little bit split up here. Like, Plant Gang isn't quite able to help their friend. Me when I lie, they do actually help their friend, but, I mean, we're going into, like, my camera's blocking the time, but I think it's less than 2 minutes. And neither of these teams here have pushed up too far, considering it's Rainmaker.
Absolutely. This might be just a game of a checkpoint difference that earns the win for one of these teams. And right now, it's in favor of the Bull Squids. A lot of trades going off. And, this is giving me deja vu to that last game. But instead of being in favor of TAMU, it's in favor of the Bull Squids. A lot of these trades that are working in their favor, so they're able to stall it out. But a huge aggressive push right now is actually going to TAMU White this checkpoint for free, and they're going to keep pushing up for this paint space with these triple ink strikes. The duelist trying to dive on in and stop that. Just the barely moment of time of 5-point difference. IO's trying to shark their way and try to keep their teammates alive with getting a nice double with a splat bomb, but it won't be enough. That's going to be a delayed wipeout onto TAMU White. Although here's the Dynamo trying to be real cheeky and get one player down, but when Leo Bloom's got this Rainmaker, they're running it all the way to the other side of the map, so it makes it impossible for this push to be quick and back up in the favor of TAMU White.
Listen, Cactus, I wouldn't be surprised here if we see somebody put the Rainmaker in the little spot. You know what spot I'm talking about. I wouldn't be surprised for our friends and family at home. There's a little spot in mid where you sit on the corner and it doesn't run out the timer. You just kind of sit there. You can put it up on the wall, and it's really, really hard to grab here. But I respect the game here. TAMU White, they're still going for a push, and I respect the Bull Squids not going for that spot either. So it's going to be a bit of a battle for whether or not TAMU White is able to make a push happen. Wait, they're going... Okay, I was going to say they're going for a bit of a risky jump here with the Whale all on top of them, but they're going to go for the ramp instead here. But they don't see Josh. I don't think they can get Josh. Oh, never mind. Josh just jumped out. Good job, Josh. But while I'm yapping, Cactus, the Rainmaker ran all the way past that bumper, that little space. A little bit of a point difference, if I can do the math, 7-point difference. Whether or not they got the lead here. So you can't stall it out here. It's this little bit of an overtime here. You're staggering. The bubble came out from IO here. Mr. Mudcup is trying to initiate. Okay, they do get one pick there. No Dynamo. That's great. That's a lot of range that they don't have anymore here on TAMU White. But Bull Squids, you're still staggering. You're stuck onto the plat. They have to drop down to some kind of space. But because they had to jump down, they jumped into the loving arms of those tri-strikes. Cactus, while I was yapping up a storm, TAMU White sweeps in, takes the lead from Bull Squids, adapts beautifully, and stops them from even thinking that they can push in overtime. Beautiful.
Yeah, they must have heard you when you commentated just a little bit ago, saying how that sweet spot is right between those two little pillows on their plat. They heard the call and they said, "You know what, Grace, this is for you." Just running right past and getting a nice, great point deficit down into the 30s, and that was a great just opportunity for them to run that forward, knowing they had the player advantage. Those dualies were only going to hit one player, and they might have one in sight, but no guarantee they were going to hit them, and that played excellently to TAMU White's favor. Bull Squids had a great attempt there. For that overtime push, they had some great picks with the Rainmaker, seeing that opportunity to go make sure no one was flanking on that left side. But as you said, those ink strikes were ready to go, and unfortunately, they thought they maybe could find that little space in between where one ends and the other one starts, hopefully trying to do some fancy squid roll maneuvers, but wasn't enough. So TAMU White leading the charge, leading the set now in a 2-1 fashion.
This has been a great set so far. I'm thinking about Pikmin right now, but I'm also thinking about the sick comps from both teams. I love to see the Dread back. I think they're subbing in the Dread player because on that second game we didn't have them, your plant friend on the Dread. So I'd be interested to see who they keep in for Clam Blitz Umami Ruins. I think it's a fun map. I feel like a lot of stuff works, which I like. I like it for Junior even, which I don't think IO's switching off of Junior, which I love for them. But looking at some other options that they have as well, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Splash once again. Dynamo makes a lot of sense there. I wouldn't be surprised about the Rapid either. But it's a fun crab map as well. I feel like there's a lot of spaces for you, but it's always a bit of a give and take because crabs want to be where your backline is. So it's do I make my Dynamo leave top mid so that I can crab, or do I try to find an off angle? That's a bit of a thing to take into consideration as well. But Bull Squids, if I'm the Bull Squids, I don't want to feel too bad because it was a very, very close game. Rainmaker can be dicey. We know. They've already proven themselves taking that first game off of TAMU White. And TAMU White has to grab these games from them, from Bull Squids' clutches. This is a very, very tight set here. It's anyone's game still. And with Clam Blitz as well. This is the true show of your, I was going to say sportsmanship, hello? Your teamwork. Your teamwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, regardless of what they pick, I'm really excited to see how their strategies will adjust. I did like what you mentioned about how if they do decide to bring out that splash for the crab tank, they'll have to have the dynamo move around. But we've seen that the dynamos on both ends be fairly aggressive in their positions if the opportunity persists. We're actually not going to see too much of a difference from TAMU White. It's the Bull Squid switching things up. We're going to see that the blaster that's going to be with the splashdown, and we're also going to see the Splattershot Pro, the Ford Splattershot Pro, with that Booyah Bomb. So a good range of the weapon selection showing that what they have in their arsenal. And right now it seems to be poking fairly well. They have control of top mid nicely here. Josh is going to see if they can find any AoE opportunities to get some picks on players that are marked, and they are going to find one. Can they find another? Looking for two. Just poking this pressure around gives them so much space for their team to move up with and potentially have a really early first push.
And they still keep up that aggression. I mean, these strikes, as always, they're going to completely mess up the little formation that Bull Squids have going on here on mid. But Mr. Mudkip here on this pro. I love the pick. Okay, we're popping Booyah Bomb. I see you, I see you. Once again, trying to separate here the members of TAMU White, getting two. A crazy, crazy double that's going to open up so much space here for the members of the Bull Squids here. Cactus looking at whether or not they want to make a push, though. It's Io running for the basket and scoring? Hello?
You know, talk about finding the blind sight in the enemy team. They just ran around the complete opposite side of the map and not being stopped. And, you know, honestly, if TAMU White could just stall this game out for the next 3.5 minutes, honestly, that would be the most legendary push to take a game I've ever seen. But right now, it's going to be the Bull Squids that are showing a very strong performance at taking way more than just mid. 2 power clamps to their name, potentially a third if they have that pity clamp. There goes a great point deficit down to 60, taking that lead. It's going to be a 3v1 though on the field, and Io's the only one left up. Josh is going to try to go on in and see if they can score any more claims, but unfortunately, Io with a great solo defense stops that push there. Josh goes down. Mr. Mudkip helping clean off that pick and just resetting to mid. As once again, the Bull Squids somehow have 2 more power clams. Like, the clam economy is insane in their control.
And I think it's because they did a really great job of locking out the members of TAMU White there on their push. Really, really impressive from them. And even now, they, I mean, arguably have control of mid. They're about to be cleared up. They just wailed them. One's going to go down, yes. But the 2 dynamos fighting here in mid, TAMU White is staggering. They're down 2 once again here. And this junior, Io, is fantastic, but they are not fantastic enough. Splat bombs can only do so much for you here if all of your teammates are down. So once again, looking at this back and forth here in mid, Cactus, my golly goodness. Okay, TAMU White, they have control here of mid. They're trying to make a push at themselves, but once again, maybe it's time to drop the 2 power clamps.
You're losing so much potential to kind of like shark around and not be spotted by the enemy team when 2 players have a giant glowing circle around their bodies. I will say this is now within the past 30 seconds. That is 2 power clams that they collected and then also lost because they just have so much clam economy they're able to quickly grab. And if I had to see me, they're already trying to build another one. Although there goes down to the blaster. It's going to be a lot of great trades. And there's the wipeout onto the Bull Squids. TMU now finally find this opportunity to push it forward. That bubble is a little further back than I think they would like, but with a great reef slider to help get rid of the duelists on that front side, they're going to get a nice solid lead. If they can get that power clamp, this is going to be even better. Down to 35 points remaining, and a lot more clamps still spawning around their section here to try to keep this push going. But with the members of the Bull Squids now find their way back under their basket, that's going to put an end to that push with closing in on 1 minute left in the game.
And if I'm Bull Squids, that stings a little bit because they've had so much control of mid here. Like the clam economy, they've got it all down, but they're having trouble getting these pushes on its feet. Like that's what they're struggling with here. They're struggling to go in together. Maybe it's a comp issue, maybe it's a bit of a user error, maybe it's they need to be going up together here, like Josh here, running in with this Booyah Bomb. But they went 2 down in the process. They were ready to fight them off after that Booyah Bomb landed. Their Dynamo is trying for dear life, trying to get some claims in, but I don't think they scored any in, unfortunately. Mr. Mudkip, they're not able to get anything either. Leo Bloom, they're locking out the members of TAMU White. Yes, they are staggering them. But now, after that whole game of having amazing clam economy. They just don't have the clams. And I mean, they're going to have to build a power clam. They're going to be able to, yes, but it's another question of whether or not they can push it.
Yeah, absolutely. They do have that under lock, and they will trade a player on each side with counting down less than 20 seconds to go, plus the addition of the 20 seconds of overtime. Looks like Dynamo 1v1 on that side. It will be one that wins it. They're going to get 2 players down. A lot of trades going back and forth here. Although with Josh pushing up, do they still have the player with that power clam? They do. They're going to try jumping out in. Will they be able to score right behind that reflyer? Yes, they will. The Dynamo is the only one that has the most clams, but can they find a way in? Leo's going to get 1, going to get 2, looking for an opportunity for Dynamo to win. Unfortunately, they're going to go down. It's going to be a delayed wipe onto the side of the Bull Squids. And with that, the counter counts on down. TAMU White holds a strong defense and secures another game, leading even more 3-1.
But Cactus, it was wavering there. It was close. These are so close games. Like, it is these small decisions, I think, that are costing them here. Because I was talking a little bit there with Bull Squids and how they were struggling to push. I say as I violently shake my purple Pikmin in my hands. But they were struggling to push a little bit there. But once they got it going, they had it going good. It felt like there was a little bit of a disconnect between the clam economy itself when they needed it, and then the pushes and the aggression and the initiation and all of that good stuff that you actually need to make a push happen. So that's really tough though. I feel like they had all of the chips to be able to make a play, but they just something didn't quite line up for them. And I think it's a lot of because of TAMU White and because of how well they played that defense as well. It felt like anytime Bull Squids were like starting to gear up for something, TAMU White either like threw themselves at them, they forced a stagger, or they just were in such great positions to where the Bull Squids had to use specials to get them out of them to even make the push happen. And then at that point, they win the stall game against Bull Squids ultimately, in my opinion. So at that point, it's like we're just kind of sitting here looking at each other from opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, it's funny because for the Bull Squids, with how much clam economy they had, it felt like the opposite of what you normally see a lot of teams struggle with, which is usually they have the great pushes that they don't have the clam economy to follow up. This felt like the reverse. They had plenty of clams. They had 2 power clams for almost a full minute and a half throughout that game, but they couldn't find the opportunity to push forward and have that push really push forward for them to have that score opportunity. They just felt like they were getting stopped a lot of the way, like you were mentioning with TAMU White. They had a great defensive game, and it took a wipeout for them to see that immediate advantage. Now, I thought for a second that when they popped that bubble a little bit behind, that was a little bit scary, but hey, they proved me wrong with that reef slider. So they had the great opportunity to go rush on him, score so many clams, and then like we've then seen them do, once they get that good push in, it's just a game of stall. And they did a fantastic job at keeping the Bull Squids at bay. Even when they found a way to sneak in, it was very hero play-esque, where I'm just going to dive in and hope this works. And unfortunately, it got close. It did get very close, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and thinking about how great TAMU White's one push was, that their really good push that they got in. Io's push was great. I loved it, Io. I loved it so much, but that one push where they got a bunch of points was awesome. I think there's something that gets lost in translation with Clam Blitz. I love Clam Blitz as a mode, and I think something that folks don't understand is that cycling the clams is half the battle in a push. Like, you need a teammate either throwing clams to your backline or somebody near the basket, or you need somebody physically cycling them themselves, being the one to throw them in and then running back, and basically not helping lock out your opponents there. And TAMU White had that down. I mean, they were cycling them pretty well. They had a bunch of clams in the push itself. It's not just about getting those power clams in. You need the little guys too. So going back to zones though, Cactus, Splat Zones, Barnacle and Dime. First of all, I love Barnacle and Dime. I like how there's pretty little fountains. You see them.
Absolutely.
Well, now we're looking at the weapons, but we'll come back to the fountains. Once again, Bull Squids won that first zones game. So we're going back to what they're comfortable with. So the fountains. Okay, I'd be interested to see how TAMU White adjusts here, knowing that they are already down 1 here in zones in general.
Yeah, I mean, right away, the first thing my eyes got drawn to, and I had to take a double take for, was TAMU White switching to the heavy-headed splatling. But then the Bull Squids also opting for a comp switch of adding the Splash-O-Matic on their side as well to have that crab pressure. And I'm all in favor of it. As a Splash main myself, I love seeing it. So I will never be like, that's a bad idea. I'm just curious to see what their plays are going to be using that to their advantage. As of right now, it seems to be a little bit of a struggle to hold their plat section. TAMU White is going to keep that zone for the second time so far in this first minute. Again, start of the game, a lot of strong back and forth. IO throwing a lot of great splat bombs, narrowly getting the Dynamo there. But right now, it's just going to be this great push opportunity here that we're going to see from the Bull Squids trying to push that plat, but with a great bubble from IO. Josh pretty much wasting all of that pressure of that crab onto destroying that bubble with that crab. It seems that that push, unfortunately, is gone before it even started. So now it's going to be TAMU White still in that great zone control.
My golly, that was hilarious. They dodge rolled into the Dynamo's loving arms. But once again, TAMU White, they've got a really strong hold of this zone. I feel like NT here on this heavy splatling, it makes a lot of sense. You want some more paint, you want some more steadiness, you want some more stall. It makes a lot of sense for TAMU White here, especially on zones. This is kind of the missing piece that they might have been looking for here. Plant Gang, oh no, their reef slider got canceled. That's so devastating here, but Josh being able to clean them up. They're already onto their stack, which is awesome. They're backing up all the members here of TAMU White. They get it, I mean, that was, they're on a killer kill streak here. I mean, my gosh, they've completely backed up TAMU White into their spawn. They've got a good lockout going on, and they cycled their specials really, really well here. They're crabbing them. They're chipping all the members here of TAMU White, stopping them from pushing from top left, and they're opting to go right, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I love Josh's decision making here. Don't fall back for the cooler. Let me stay here and crab. And it's honestly doing so much. That did so much pressure, did so much great work. Josh is showing that you can be absolutely as aggressive as you want with pretty much any weapon here, as the Splash usually doesn't take that kind of approach, but was getting a great splat streak on their side. And now this vac from Mr. Mudkip to try to hold on from these players pushing on in. This might be an opportunity for them to keep that zone, but unfortunately not. It was enough for them, though, to get a good lead by just 10 points. Penalty now counting down for TAMU White as they take control back of that zone. But Bull Squids are not lighting up in the slightest. Right away, taking two great opportunities, two different sides from that left street section, and of course their front area. But with that Dynamo having a great side flank, they're gonna get one, they're gonna get two splats with that. That crowd's gonna try to apply more pressure, and this Dynamo might get another. They're gonna keep this zone, and their penalty points are counting down so fast, Grace.
Oh my gosh, Cactus! I feel like TAMU White, when it matters in the moment, they can put the pedal to the metal and they're able to follow up off of each other so beautifully. Like, they perfectly pinched that ink vac in the zone when they were trying to recap here. But Cactus, I gotta shut the heck up this reef slider. It doesn't isn't able to get the ink vac, but it doesn't matter because they're there to cap the zone, or rather paint over that ink vac despite all of that. That reef slider into the mouth of the ink vac is hilarious. But once again shows TAMU White, they're able to turn this around. They're able to rewrite their own destiny on splat zones. They take this game here from Bull Squids, who were having a really, really strong lockout there. They were doing super well. Just something faltered. Maybe it was that extra stall. Maybe it was that heavy splatling that was the missing piece of TAMU White's comp and why they weren't so strong there on zones. Maybe they were just like, let's just go full stomp, full stall. And really just focus on paint there. But whatever it was, whatever they thought their missing piece was, they found it, because that was a really, really good KO.
Yeah, I mean, I always forget that when you have ink vac, you can survive that reef slide. It doesn't make sense to me, but, you know, it happens. But I did... Funny. Yeah, like... I mean, overall, though, I mean, that was a really great play. Take all attention from where the ink vac's going to go and just force the attention right in front of them instead of that zone. Yeah, I'm really curious how that push for the Bull Squids went from huge success to unfortunately being put on the back pedal, because for a moment they had that great opportunity to push back in, but I think that came down to just not checking your flanks, and that Dynamo being on that left flank there, getting 2 players down, and then chipping a third for the enemy for their teammates to push on in and collapse. I mean, that might have been the detrimental turnaround of that game, because they were doing so well that whole game. Both teams had such great back and forth pushes, and it looked like for a while Bull Squids had that almighty end-all push there for the zones game, especially with Josh just going on like a 6 or 7, aura streak there. So that was really awesome to see. But unfortunately, just wasn't enough. A flanking Dynamo seems it's all it takes there to secure that game. So TAMU White, after only losing the first game, is now on a 4-game win streak. And I'm wondering, Grace, what do the Bull Squids have to do to try to turn things around? Because now they're looking at pretty much, game point for the enemy team here. TAMU White just needs one more win here. What can the Bull Squids do? What can they pull out to try to turn things around and start, bringing this to the full game 9 for a chance to take it home?
I feel like it's got to be a matter of sticking to your guns and keeping your positions and not faltering, and understanding that you know how TAMU White plays here. You don't have to falter because you think that they're breaking from their patterns, the behaviors. You know their behaviors here. And tower control, my gosh, Inkblot Art Academy, this is the holy grail of everybody, your mom's favorite counter pick. This is, I've seen this, I think it's burnt into my skull how many times I played on this map mode specifically. But Cactus, come on. Bull Squids, we're at match point here. If they want to try to take this set back, they've got to remember that they know how TAMU White plays here. Try not to get locked out. Try to keep your aggression up and play to your strength. But Cactus, what do you think about these comps? What do you think? You like them?
We're back. We're on a mini. There's a mini on the field. I'm not surprised if any player is gonna have it. It's gonna be Mr. Mudkip. We've seen him on pretty much like 4 or 5 different weapons this entire set. So I give him props for being the ultimate flex player. I'm really curious how a bubble of their own is going to compare. I guess they feel that might be the opportunity, and I don't blame them. What I don't think they planned for though is a super aggressive Dynamo to come from the side out of nowhere. It's pretty much put a halt to any kind of push they were hoping for. So the Bull Squids doing a great job right now, just trying to hold at least most of it if they're able to. But yeah, TAMU White, not much comp change on themselves. I mean, they bring out the Splash, the Dreads out. We do see the Rapid Blaster Decos. That's going to have the extra whales they feel they might need. Interesting comp changes. I'm in favor of them. I'm just curious how it's going to play to each of their strengths. And right now, it seems that the Bull Squids aren't exactly too sure how it might fit to theirs, as TAMU White is already speeding through this first checkpoint, possibly aiming to take the second one.
My golly goodness, that first checkpoint is really, really awkward on Inkblot. I feel like if you don't get it quickly, it's over.
Yeah.
Or it feels like it, really. But speaking of it being over, that push is over. Dang, Bull Squids able to stomp them out completely there. They like wash them out of their bats. They completely pounced onto the tower together. They circled them like sharks, and they exploded them. It was beautiful there. But what was not beautiful is their lovely Dynamo player going down here. Josh with the Zuka trying to open up some space, trying to get some aggression, trying to get some picks to open up something here for their teammates. They want this first checkpoint as easily here as TAMU White got it against them. But with this flanking Dynamo, once again, they're able to get out of there for free. Pressure for free. Oh, I lied. They're gone now. But Mr. Mudkip now on the left stack. Cactus, take it away.
Yeah, I had great communication there from the Bull Squids, being able to get that pick on that Dynamo. They are back really fast, and I will say, they made TAMU White use up their bubble. What I'm surprised I'm not seeing yet, though, is Mr. Mudkip using their bubble to help push forward this tower. I mean, okay, we see a little bit of this aggressive now. Commentator's curse, they proved me wrong here. And they're going to try to just speed through this first checkpoint of their own. But Mr. Mudkip rushing up onto that plat, barely surviving out. The Dynamo getting a great amount of pressure put on this front side. Zuka's coming out from Josh, but they take a swim in the water because of the knockback. But you know, it's gonna be the Dynamo on the side of the Bull Squids, gonna try to push this on their own, Cooler on the tower to block their right side as they, you know, shoot towards that top left of their bat section. And this is gonna be that lead swap that they were looking for. This might be the Bull Squids' push that they want, but they're gonna have to make this count because, as you were mentioning before, they know what TAMU White is capable of. You cannot let this opportunity slip you. You have to go as far as you can, and a push at 29 seems like that's going to be their max, at least at this current moment, with a minute and a half to go.
Listen, I'm gonna say opposite of Commentator's curse. They were playing to stop.
Oh, another
no,
swim.
Mr. Mudkip, no! Oh, Mr. Mudkip. Anyways, that was so devastating. I feel like my heart just shattered into a million pieces. But Bull Squids, they were noticing the patterns that TAMU White were doing. I mean, they were stopping their flanking Dynamo, which again, hilarious concept. But
Yep.
they were stopping them before they were even flanking, which is so impressive. They knew what they were going for, and I'm seeing a lot of that here. They're taking these fights together, which is very smart here. But tower control Inkblot, everyone is susceptible to being locked out here, and TAMU White, they are good at these long pushes where they just keep going, they tire you out, they wear all your resources down, they wear you down to the bone, and then there's nothing left, and then they just take the tower right out from under you here. Mr. Mudkip opting to do a little bit of a bubble to keep their bats. No, Trooper!
Oh, no.
What? This spot is cursed! Cactus, this spot is cursed!
There's no way. You would think this is Mahi, how many players have taken a little swim. But, you know, this is just Inkblot, you know? I mean, I think it's just the nerves getting to them. They know how much this game matters on both sides. And it's just these little things that are just, you know, knocking them out into the water here. There's the flanking Dynamo again, and unfortunately, Mudkip cannot get that pick in time, so that Dynamo lives with just a little bit of HP left. Cooler will be popped for them, and we're now going to be rounding this overtime. Are any players, though, from TAMU going to hop in this tower? Looks like it will be Trooper trying to hold on, but Josh is here to meet them right there with the Killer Whale, and the Bull Squids are still in it to win it. They are now securing another game for themselves, having the score push up a little higher, 4-2.
Mr. Mudkip drowning, be damned. My gosh, Bull Squids, they're able to stay in this set. My golly gosh, they got a really good push in there, and it wasn't even just that, because TAMU White wasn't even quite in striking range to get that lead from them. Their defense was really solid. It felt like their positioning was good. They didn't really stagger, which is awesome. You love to see that on defense, especially on Inkblot. I feel like on Inkblot, I feel like I just feed and then it's just over, and then everyone looks at me and they're like, "Why is the junior feeding?" And then it's really embarrassing. Trauma aside. Tower control Inkblot, a win on that is really great for the Bull Squids here. And like we said, they're still alive in this set. TAMU White still at match point though. If they win one more, that's the entire set here. And looking at our next game, Cactus, this is a tough one. I think many of people, Rainmaker, Manta Maria, that's Manta Maria to me is my estranged wife, who I can't quite love her. And we're thinking of divorcing, but like I can't. I do still like her, and she's also a big ship.
Yeah.
And it's just not. It's really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a crazy weapon swap, because I feel like people are like, I don't know, let's just go quad try. Like nobody knows what to do on Manta Maria, especially on Rainmaker. But this is for all the marbles. For this to be one of your games where you're at match point is very nerve-wracking. Anything can happen. You are not at all safe until you KO. 100% out of any Rainmaker map modes. Manta, you're never safe, even when you think you are.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure many of us know the feeling as well, if towards that final checkpoint, taking that little swing around the outside of that ledge, so that you're able to get a handful of more points for your team. But I love that you brought that up. Yeah, what are these teams gonna pull out now? We're seeing all kinds of weapons be picked out based on the I'm guessing the map mode combinations, because I can't imagine it's to counter each other. If it is, they are mix and matching each other's feelings here. And honestly, I'm as lost as maybe some of them are looking at what the enemy team brings out. I'm curious. I would love to take a guess what they might bring up, but honestly, Grace, I have no idea. I'm expecting maybe a sploosh next. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
No, that would be crazy. Okay, back from taking the swim, Trooper here on the end.
Like, there's an Octobrush.
The Octobrush.
Like, what?
Hello? The Octobrush. Okay. we're seeing the cogs turning for the Bull Squids. Makes a lot of sense here. But Endy opting to go back to the heavy splat lane. Okay. Listen, I think that does make sense. Listen, that GG wave breaker, it's really, no, I'm kidding, but it does get a lot of space. It paints like crazy. Io here helping them with that paint deficit as well, sticking to this junior this entire set so far. Endy, hello? Getting the checkpoint. Okay.
For free.
Okay.
We just run this.
You know what? Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I was also going to comment how, like, we also went a zap on the side of TAMU White. But honestly, the biggest thing right here is the Dynamo. Switching to the Octobrush so they can be infinitely more aggressive as they want and be able to live so many more engagements. Of course, they say that they go down that street section, but we're going to ignore that for 1 second to just acknowledge that the Bull Squids didn't change their comp. They're still confident in theirs. They're going to keep it running. Mudkip will go ahead and be a little bit aggressive with their bubble. Get 1, looking to get 2. They will trade it off. It's going to be the heavy spot laying alive here. It's going to be Leo Bloom getting that checkpoint now for the sides of the Bull Squid. And now we are at a checkpoint even match deficit here. It's probably going to be the side of the Bull Squids getting a really nice lead here, and maybe even then some. 29, a number rings the bell, just like we saw last game. But will it be enough as 3 players go down and TAMU White immediately wastes no time resetting that?
Listen, I respect it. I feel like I see nobody resetting nowadays. I feel like it's like a little awkward and like you go, oh, whoa, what the heck happened on that pop? Why did 2 members of Bull Squids go down there? And they lost the Rainmaker Cactus. What the heck is going on? Six Zipcaster though, by the way. Oh, they just got merged. Never mind. Maybe we can here. But Trooper here trying to get Cinderlin down here. Io struggling for their life. Not able to grab this Rainmaker. Why are we blowing up in mid? I'm so overstimulated right now. I don't know what's happening. Only the
I was gonna say,
left. My gosh.
Yeah, I think TAMU White feels a little overstimulated themselves. I feel like they feel panicked. I don't know. They lost their footing, and it feels like they're struggling to stand up as if they're standing on ice without ice skates. They just don't know how to position themselves right now. They need to take a second to just kind of reset, because right now the Bull Squids have a really strong lead, and they also have a really strong opportunity to hold this mid section. Fortunately, Mr. Mudkip will go down to a splat bomb from who else but Io. This Rainmaker here just being kind of turned into their colors. Zipcast being launched onto that right side, trying to see if they could stall some attention away so that some of their teammates can go in and get a couple picks here. But right now, it's just going to be a little difficult for TAMU White to find that footing they're looking for. They will try to get mid, but again, 2 more players down. I think actually a player fell off the map on that flank.
I think it was again. I think it was Trooper again.
The stress levels are very high for both these teams, and I think right now it's affecting TAMU White the most.
Yes, oh my gosh. And like with a symptom of that stress, like we've been saying, they're playing a little bit panicked here, but it's also their aggression is disharmonious. Like they're not quite taking these fights together here, which is why their aggression is falling through and they can't quite get their footing. Like you said, they're trying to skate without ice skates here. So Endy here holding this Rainmaker, which I think is the right move here. Your backline, your backbone being the Rainmaker itself. Okay, we need to see some more aggression, so coordinated aggression here. Trooper's gonna once again go down though here. Oh no! They ran into the suction bomb's loving arms here, Josh. Io here trying to keep this push alive. They opt to grab it. Oh, the switch, the fake out.
Okay.
I love this move though because it keeps, the members here of, Bull Squids on their toes, yes. But they're not really able to make anything out of it here. I mean, they still have some lasting presence here in the bunker, which is great. They're getting these picks. They're staggering here the members of the Bull Squids, but they need a lot more than that to get past 29 remaining.
Yeah, I mean, fancy footwork can only help you so much. You need that point deficit to go down a lot more, and they're going to go down to 51, but Josh is just going to go on a splat streak. These 3 players down, taking a second to think if they want to clip that or not. But Josh is going to have that floor state and help pop that Rainmaker, and Azuka online as well. Oh, I feel bad for Trooper if that nails them. Oh, that was so close, but a nice assist will help with that. Unfortunately, no other Zuka shots to help that floor state keep going, but Trooper's going to just try to get this Rainmaker down, trying to get a couple more points on the board, and just stalling it out. 30 seconds left to go. It's going to be dangerous territory for both teams here, but right now, I'm a little more nervous for the Bull Squids, because this is a great territory for TAMU White. They just constantly keep pushing it forward, unless the Bull Squids just fall off the map and reset it back to mid.
Right, but it just gave it back into the TAMU White's clutches. I mean, now they're 2 down once again, but TAMU White loves going this right route. Okay, it looks like they were faking it to go up into the bunker for a little bit of a better position. I lied. They are trying to push it once again.
They're figuring us out.
They're faking us out. It's so hilarious. But look,
Oh.
Josh, hello? That was a killer Zuka shot, and they couldn't anticipate it. Cactus, we have a reverse sweep. Well, I guess they did take it one. We have a wink wink reverse sweep in the making here from Bull Squids. This is nuts. I mean, TAMU White, they're so good at keeping pushes going just constantly. It feels like your back is always against the wall, even when you have the lead. It feels like you constantly have to defend, which makes you feel a little bit anxious for sure. But even despite all of that pressure, Bull Squids, they held strong. I feel like they could never even drop the Rainmaker down into that little area, the pit, with that pedestal. They couldn't get it past that little ledge on the right. They barely could get it past street. They couldn't keep a push going to save their life there, and that's because the Bull Squids are really, really adapting here. I feel like they're seeing these patterns. They're seeing where TAMU White falls flat, and that maybe their aggression is predictable, maybe their flanks are predictable, maybe this like constant onslaught of pressure doesn't give them any room to breathe and regroup when they go down numbers. They're kind of forcing themselves to just keep going when maybe that's not the play, maybe that's not working, or maybe it's something else.
I think the other thing else might be might be nerves. It might be nerves. I think TAMU White, realized they are just one game away, and it might be that nerves of being like, we just need one, we just need one, we just need one, we just need one, and that one is not coming. They get close, but it as you were saying, the Bull Squids are adapting slowly per game, per minute, and they're catching TAMU White in a lot of these uncomfortable situations, and they're not finding that opportunity to do what they did those first 4 games in a row against the Bull Squids, where they're able to have that strong aggression forward. They're able to have a strong lead and hold that defense. Things are getting into dangerous territory. Now, Clam Blitz on Crab Leg, Capital, is next up. We do have an opportunity here for either side to make great work of their bubbles. So I can't wait to see who's going to win this fight, the junior or the mini Splatling with the bubble. Who's going to find the opportunity here? And we don't have to wait much longer unless, again, they surprise us with another comp change. I'm ready for it. What's the next weapon on the roulette wheel? Please show me, because surely it's another new one. I do it. We have a regular brush.
What? Io, you've betrayed me. No, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like I struggle on here as a junior. Crab Leg is very awkward. It makes sense for the brushes. Oh, they're still going. Still going all sub-saber, which is hilarious. But ND opted to go back to old reliable, that Tech splatter shot. Cactus. Oh my golly gosh. Mr. Mud kept sticking with that mini as well. And I mean, once again, run-of-the-mill comp that we've been seeing so far from the Bull Squids. But TAMU White already cooled up here. Io already has a power clam. Oh, never mind. Oh,
I mean, you hate and you love to see it as a shot player as well. I mean, I felt that Zuka, both in pain and also in satisfaction. Speaking about the Cyber player out of the air like that. They do keep it alive, though. Endery does grab onto it, and they're going to hold on to that power clam. But, I mean, they're playing a really strong defensive game right now, this first minute of the game. They had a little bit of space at the beginning, but they lost all of it. But right now, we're going to see a potential push being planted forward. That Reef Slider will open up just a little bit of space. Can they score at a time? They will, but it's going to be that the mist that's going to slow them down. So unfortunately, they get picked off right away with it. And that one power clam is all they're going to have. But this feels very vaguely familiar from a previous Clams game. Josh unfortunately takes another tumble down with Zuka knockback. Dynamo v Dynamo here. I love just the 1v1 of that. Who's going to be able to use the longest range first? But looks like neither. Well, there'll be a truce for now. But great initial engagement from both sides. It's just a one power clam game right now, a type of game.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like this, as opposed to Umami Ruin's Clam Blitz, is a lot harder to push on Crab Leg. Clam Blitz can be rough here. Rainmaker as well, a tough mode on this map mode. My gosh, Cactus, I'm like getting anxious looking at these grates and whether or not Bull Squid's going to be able to defend them. They do. They get down NG here. Okay, we got to retake mid. We got to be coolered up. Don't explode. Don't run into the Dynamo's loving arms here. But TAMU White, again, like they are not giving up control of mid at all, and I think it's because they have such good control of the grates, if I were to say here. But looking as well at Bull Squids, they're going to go 2 down. They're getting quite a bit staggered, and because of that slowness, they've effectively stalled out the members of the Bull Squids here. They won this strong arm from mid, and now they're going to be able to push. We get a huge wipe here, playing slow, steady, and patient. TAMU White, as we've seen them, the strongest here. IO, they explode, but this is a good push here. Already 46 remaining, Cactus. Golly, my gosh.
Yeah, Grace, great opportunity, great push here from TAMU White. Somehow Endy survives that with just probably 5 HP to their name, and a great defense from Bull Squids. Although no push yet on their side. Josh will get a nice pick on one player with that Zuka, so it'll be the Tech splatter shot down, so no strikes online. IO does have 7 clams, so they can try to form a power clam if they want to, and looks like they will. A couple players resetting on the side of TAMU White. Bull Squids having this bubble on the top right, but one player goes down, looking for any opportunity to try to rush on in and score. It's going to be Leo Blue forming that power clam, but getting caught out and having to throw the power clam back to try to keep it alive, and they will have 2 ready to go. A lot of just trades happening right now, and we've seen this before. These are trades that are in favor of TAMU White. The Bull Squids right now don't seem to have the trade opportunity that they need that's going to allow them to push forward and get a great start going. But they're going to try to find their way with close to less than a minute left in the game.
That was such a smart play by IO there. They saw that they just wailed them, and then they saw that their friend there on the Dynamo went down, so they counter-wailed them. It doesn't even matter, though, because, my gosh, Josh, with these Zukas, I gotta stop yapping. They're able to take out Endy. My gosh, they open up a lot of space, but Cactus, if you'll notice, again, they're not pushing. They're having so much trouble getting past this little choke point. Again, Crab-like is so difficult to push on. It feels like you have to get a wipe before you even want to get into their clan basket whatsoever here. So looking at this good control that they have of mid, they do have 2 power clams online. I'm getting deja vu to this Umami Ruins game, but they can't get out of mid here. They're going to trade out this Dynamo, and less than, I mean, it's basically about 30 seconds left in this match. Again, match point for TAMU White, who's currently in the lead. Bull Squids, they haven't been able to score whatsoever. They are going to go 2 down here onto TAMU White, which is awesome for the Bull Squids. Make that 3 down, but Mr. Mudkip running up, trying to do a little bit of scoring. Speaking of a little bit of scoring, IO, wait, it missed. It missed. Okay, Bull Squids, I'm praying for y'all. I got my hands clasped around my Pikmin. Are they going to be able to make a push out of this?
Oh, do they even have a power clam to make the push happen? Josh is trying to get the power clam. They're throwing clams back and forth. No one's making the power clam. I don't think they have the... Okay. They barely made that power clam. It's just Josh alive. The only push opportunity they have is this Zuka and this whale, but all specials being popped on out for TAMU White. Can Josh find a way to go on in and score this power clam? I don't think so. They're getting cornered. The Dynamo picks them off. Jumps are coming on in. It's going to be 2 players. One's trying to rush on in. Can either of them get in time to score? No, they can't. The defense is too strong for TAMU White, and they're going to secure this game for a 5-3 set, meaning TAMU White are your Div 2 CCA champions.
Dang. My gosh, TAMU White, I have seen you since infancy. No, I'm kidding. I commentated the round 1 of playoffs, but like, this is... What an amazing run from them. It felt like even when they were on the back foot, even when we saw them struggling, like, we attributed it to be a bit of a panic. Maybe it was they let themselves get a little bit too comfortable. Because I get that as a player myself. I get it where you're up so many games in a set. You're like, it's okay. Yeah. And it's like, no, you can't fall into that autopilot. You can't let yourself fall into your habits, because they start to predict them. And once you get predictable, you just really can't make anything work here. So, TAMU White, Texas A&M University, the team to beat. They had an amazing run here, being able to finish out their season 7 of CCA League to be exact, with a win of Div 2. Many claps for them. Awesome run. Really strong.
Absolutely. They performed their absolute best. I think, honestly, I love the changes they made, especially to the players that changed there. Because as you were saying, when you have that comfortability, you get predictable. And I don't think they were expecting IO to completely switch off of Junior and go to a brush. I think that definitely threw a wrench in the gears of the Bull Squids. So very great to see from both of these teams. Very strong efforts. And a wonderful set being played. I also would love to point out that TAMU White getting revenge for their sibling team, TAMU Maroon, who did bring Bull Squids to a full Game 9. So one game short of that as well. We got all the way to a game 8. Fantastic stuff from both these teams, and of course TAMU White for their solid victory.
That the whole revenge aspect is so great. I feel like whenever a fellow Drexel team has like a little rivalry going with one of the schools, it always feels good to be like, no, you can't do that to my little brother. You can't do that to like you're kind of helping.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and I love the storylines with CCA. It's so cool to see how folks change season to season, year to year with folks graduating. It's always super fun. So to see TAMU White here win is really awesome. But Bull Squids did an amazing showing. They were adapting so well. I really feel like they gave TAMU a run for their money. And I love to see that in a grand set. You can't get too comfortable even if you're awesome and you end up winning. You can't get too comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable, right? You have to be able to outreach over your comfort zone in order to achieve higher and achieve greatness, and that's exactly what we saw both of these teams do. And we are going to have an opportunity to maybe find out about how uncomfortable they got, at least from the side of TAMU White, as we are having some players join us here to interview their fantastic win of Division 2. So welcome on in. How are you both doing today?
Hey.
Pretty good.
Doing all right.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Please introduce yourselves for the folks at home who might not recognize your lovely voices. Tell us who you are from TAMU White, perhaps what you play, maybe your role within the team if you're a captain, anything like that.
You go first, Plant.
All right, so I'm Plant Gang. I play the Dread Ringer, and my role is Reef Slider. So I think that pretty much
absolutely.
Love that role.
Fantastic. Yep.
I am Fireclaw. I play the Dino and Octopus. I am the support and aggressor.
Beautiful.
But so we saw an excellent display of both worlds there from you. I don't know how many times we called out the amazing flanks that you had as the Dynamo, and definitely threw some question marks on our brain. But they worked out, and it was incredible to see.
Thank you. The other team played really well. They stopped my flanks a lot, so I had to retreat.
Yes, we noticed that. So this leads into my first question here. So I want you to talk to us a little bit here about what was going through your mind after that. First of all, after that ink block game, but also after the Manta Maria game as well, because you went from having a 4-1 lead there, being at match point, to then being a bit on the back foot where they were in striking range of trying to take this set here from you. So what was going through your head there when you were leading into those games? Were you trying to retake the lead? But also, what adaptations did you make there, specifically on Crab Leg, because you ended up winning that very convincingly?
I think in the beginning, here, hold on. let me think. Plant, if you want to speak too.
Oh, I didn't play those two games, so.
Well, that's why you lost.
That's
you
the adaptation right there.
You know what?
Reslider was not there. Reslider was not there.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I think also we benefited a lot. The Indy switched over to the Tri-Strikes, and those were big for us. Like the I don't know. He plays the Rapid Pro, which is really good too, but it's not as like explosive, and sometimes it's just good to be able to stop a push right there. So
very true.
And Reef Slider does a similar job.
Personally,
yeah, that
I
makes
think.
a lot of sense.
Sorry.
Never be sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Personally, since I go flank a lot, I don't see what the other three are doing that often. But I think that I could have flanked just a little more to the other side, because I noticed that I was playing like a bit more conservatively in this set. And I think that definitely costed us something. And then the second time, when we went to Manta Maria, I tried to switch to Octobrush for flanking more. But I think Bull Squids did catch on to that and started catching me off guard. So I just went back to Dynamo and Crab Leg.
Yes, we were noticing that too. It felt like every time you tried to get an angle on the flanks, I noticed that on Inkblot as well. They just kind of stopped you. Like they knew immediately what you were going for, which is very interesting, and it's tough. And it's interesting to hear you say that you felt like you were playing a little more passive or a little safer, because I think we were seeing that. I was feeling it in my bones. My bones full of calcium. But yeah. Cactus, you must ask them another question, because I already did one. and I can't be
Absolutely. I think what I'm most curious about is what were some of the decisions behind some of those comp changes per game, because we saw, I think, one of the more wider variety of weapon selections that we've seen in most sets. There were definitely a lot of unique choices that you guys had on your team. So what were kind of some of the thought process behind them? Was it more of just the to match the map mode comfortability, or was it to counter what the other team was either doing or playing?
A sort of mix of both. Our team is very strong in that we are very versatile. We play a lot of different weapons. We just don't know which to choose at the moment. Partly it's due to the fact that we know what Bull Squids was running because of previous VODs from you guys. So we could counterpick to that. And then the map mode is also what we're comfortable with as well. Like Barnacle Dive is one of our best modes there is, so we just run that same combo over and over again.
Yeah. And I want to add on, like, whenever we feel like we're moving a little slow, we get Io to play Inkbrush instead, and then he just runs forward and gets his little kills and annoys people in the base, so that's always nice to have that option.
Yeah. No, we popped off when we saw the Inkbrush because it felt like Io was like the only one like not changing weapons. So we were like, yeah, that's the constant. We were like Inkbrush, what's happening? But it makes a lot of sense for Crab Leg too. And that philosophy worked. Like you guys completely, it felt like Bull Squids couldn't get in whatsoever. Even towards the end there with that overtime, they never managed to score a power clam, which is so impressive. And it worked for sure. But for another question for y'all, this is because I'm just curious, but they beat TAMU Maroon here, which is very interesting. I mean, I know you said that you knew that Bull Squids was gonna run, but how much did that light a fire under y'all to win? How much did that help you because you kind of knew better how Bull Squids was going to play here? I'm very curious because I feel like almost fighting your brother or sister team is very funny. So not having that happen, it's like very interesting. I want you to tell me all your thoughts. Tell me all of them.
Revenge! Vengeance! They beat our sister team, we have to beat them now. Only we can beat our sister team.
Which I will admit we don't usually do, so it makes kind of a weird like rock, paper, scissors situation where Maroon usually bests us and then we beat a team that beat them, so I don't really know how the power scaling works out there, but we're on top right here and that's all that matters.
Oh, that's fascinating, because I was assuming
that
they were maybe like the team under y'all. That is very fascinating.
But it would have been great to get to play Maroon in the finals. It's a shame we didn't, but I am glad we got our revenge.
It's so rare for us to fight each other, so every opportunity we get, we would rather. Well, we really want to fight them too. It's so fun too.
It's hilarious. It's also very funny for the commentators because we're like, TAMU, the other one, is on the other one, and they're pushing the other one. It's very fun. You know what else is fun? Cactus, whatever question you're gonna ask. Ooh, segue, ooh.
Ooh, okay. I see you with the segue, Grace.
Okay.
Yeah, so when it comes to some of those games where it felt like you guys were on the heavy back foot there, where maybe you had the Bull Squids having a really good hold on, I guess the first one that pops in my mind is that the Barnacle and Dime Zones game, where you guys were pretty much pushed back into your drop area from your spawn, and you had a crab that was out that was just pushing you guys so far back. What was the kind of the feeling that moment of how can we break out of this, and what was the kind of calls to be like, here's what we can do to not only break out of this but also end up winning the game in a KO?
What?
I'll be honest, with that match, I thought our out would be Reef Slider, and then I popped Reef Slider and died immediately, so I don't know what miracle got us back in at the last moment. I thought it was over. I was like, maybe I'll pick up a couple kills, we can use that momentum, and I got no one and died immediately, so...
I don't remember too well what happened. All I remember is that one of them did go down. Well, we all called to band together to get one final push in, because if that failed, we all would have...
It was the power of friendship that got us there, I think.
Of course. And then we killed them all and we won.
That's so beautiful. Okay, last question, really quick for y'all. So, in one word, please describe, or like maybe you can do two. You can do two because I like you, because you're Div 2. Haha. But in 2 words, please tell us, how does it feel to be the Div 2 champions this season? Tell me.
It feels good.
Feels good.
It
Good
feels
answer.
good.
Honestly, I was gonna say the silence speaks volumes. They feel so good they're speechless.
They were like 2 words or less, say less. I'm not gonna say anything.
I'll be honest, I am super stressed, but I'm also like pretty relieved, you know?
Yes, I feel you. It's like you've been working for this. It's grueling, the league format. So many kudos to y'all. Thank you for sitting with us through this silly little interview. Congratulations again. Y'all did
Thank
amazing.
you.
And it was wonderful to
Thank
commentate.
you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Slay.
All right, amazing words from 2 members of TAMU White, doing a fantastic job, and overall, love getting their thoughts, love getting their opinions, finding out how they felt in that moment, and then just hearing that, you know, the job, the work has paid off, the grind was successful. So fantastic job, and once again, congrats to them, and congrats for the Bull Squids on a successful 2nd place for this division. I'm sure they're going to be, you know, being able to review those games and see what they can maybe do better the next time if they have the opportunity to. So great stuff from both sides.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. You know what's also really cool? Before we run away, Cactus. Yes, that's really cool. CCA has merch. First of all, I think Arlo is adorable. I'm so happy that CCA has a cute little mascot going on. I like how round Arlo is, and I like how silly they look. And I like stickers, and I like shirts, and they've got a freaking mug. So this is so sick. Use code FINALS for 10% off, which is so sick as well here. But yeah, support CCA, get some really cute merch. If you see me at Riptide and you're wearing this merch, I will give you a hug or a high five if you don't like hugs.
Will we be seeing you flexing some of that merch as well?
Oh my gosh, no, I should.
That'd be an awesome opportunity.
I should. Listen, I think it'd be awesome if everyone pulled up in Arlo crop tops at Riptide. but that's it from us. Fantastic again. Congratulations to TAMU White. Bull Squids did an amazing job as well, deserving of that 2nd place. TAMU White, once again, congratulations. But that's it from us for the Div 2 finals here. Wrapping up here, my name is Grace. You can find me on Twitter, but I don't really like Twitter that much. You can mostly find me on Blue Sky at Tubnug, you know. But then it's like .bsky.social. You guys know how it works. But what about you, Cactus?
Similarly, you can find me pretty much on all socials at Glitch Cactus. Same here. I'm mainly on Blue Sky if you want an opportunity to interact somewhere with me. But besides that, sharing our love of Pikmin is what got us through this, and something fun for us to bond over today, Grace. You pull out the army of Pikmin.
My army. I kept them next to me. I was cycling through them that entire set.
I know.
Yeah.
I am all in favor of that. I love it.
But yeah, that's it from us, and kudos to DRF, our lovely producer streamer, who was able to bring y'all this match. Amazing spec cam work as always, amazing producing as always. But that's it from us. Thank you for watching. There will be some more CCA action eventually, and I don't remember when. I don't know. Love you. Thanks for watching. On the Twitch. Look at the Twitch.
On the CCA_Splatoon Twitch channel, you can catch more CCA action. Thank you all so much for watching this Division 2 Finals. I was Cactus, this was Grace. We'll see you in the next season.